I'm going back into the archives to 15-minute meals. There's some beautiful things in here. I really like the style of photography, over the top. A really nice global collection of recipes. This one we're gonna do is sizzling beefsteak with hoisin prawn and noodle bowls. Fancy that? 4 portions in 15 minutes. So my team have asked me to recreate that just to double check that it can be done in 15 minutes, which it can be, by the way. We're very strict. But look, super excited about this. It brings back lovely, lovely memories. This was a super popular book. Obviously people want delicious fast food. And then, oh, that was 12, 13 years ago, I only had 3 kids. I had so much more energy and so much more time and so much more patience. But let's do it. Let's do it. Let's bring up the clock. Let's bring up the clock now. So as per usual, and I did this in the title sequence of the show, like, you know, get your stuff out. Let's get ready and raring to go. I'm not going to use a wok. I'm going to use a large frying pan. So let's whack that onto a high heat. And I've got some boiling water straight out the kettle. I think in the show I just put the kettle on so it was a bit more authentic, but I've cheated with boiling water. I'm sorry. Okay, so let's go. First job. Look, we want to create a lovely dish that's exciting, colourful, dynamic, soft, crunchy, sweet, sour, texture. So part of the journey is actually the end, the garnish, and not garnish for sort of looking at, a garnish that enriches the dish. So some peanuts, to be honest, it could be any nuts that you really fancy. So these are peanuts. You could use almonds, pistachios, play with it. It doesn't really matter. Let's toast these up. Just to help the toasting happening, you know, just a little bit of oil, just to kind of get those fats going. So we want that to just toast up, get a little bit golden. Let's just talk through what we've got so you know what we're doing. And you can tell this is, you know, fairly chilled, right? So pestle and mortar, the cheapest gadget. Well, it's not the cheapest, it's 2 bits of rock, right? It's the oldest gadget. So it will never break, you don't have to plug it in. So we can use that for marinades, dressings, smashing up nuts, right? Sprinkles. This represents cooking. When that's happening, good things are happening, right? So I think the energy of 15-minute meals was kind of like, use your senses, you know, use your smell, like get home from work, you're a bit tired, your taste buds want something electric and exciting, little handful of sesame seeds. I'm a massive lover of nuts and seeds at home. Really good, heart-healthy fats. You know, there's some amazing research that says how people can live a couple of years longer, you know, and it's better for heart disease and all that by having a little handful of nuts every day. Gold, right? Garnish, happy days. Veg, mushrooms galore. Any mushrooms, I've got oysters. Noodles, 1 per portion. We're doing 4, happy days. The classic sort of base flavors, ginger, garlic, lime, that will come later, some spring onions, some coriander. Predictable, but really efficient. We've got some bean sprouts, which I love. We'll cook those. I've got some frozen prawns that are defrosted. By the way, if you want to do frozen prawns quickly, put them in a bowl, run a little cold water on it, they'll defrost super quick. In a colander, happy days. Oh, and by the way, some steaks, little minute steaks. So actually, 2 fairly sort of like skinny steaks, minute steaks, between 4 people. So this is really about making beautiful things go a long way. Stretching food, dynamic food. In the pan, I know it looks like not much is happening, but you know, I've introduced the dish. You can see we've got a little bit of color there, right? So that's good, I'm good with that, I'm down with that. So into the pestle we go. Let's use a little cloth to get all of my bits of sesame seed in there as well. So I will pound those up when they've cooled down a little bit. Some will stay in shape, some will kind of go to a little powder. So now we're back to the pan. So I'm going to go to Japan now. I used to work in Japan, loved it. Cuisine, culture, extraordinary. And one of the little revelations I had in Japan was they would take mushrooms and they would dry grill or dry fry these. And that really stuck with me because what I realized from the clever Japanese is that often in the Mediterranean, and certainly in British culture, mushrooms, oil, butter, lard. It's getting fatty, these are absorbent. But like, the Japanese weren't doing that. Well, I'm sure they do, but in some recipes. But they were dry grilling, or dry frying, as I call it, mushrooms. Really interesting. So what's good about that? Okay, Caramelization is going to happen without fat, interesting. This exaggeration, this amplification of nuttiness happens. That doesn't happen with butter. You get sweetness and depth and umami. But nuttiness is kind of a cool thing, right? So I'm going with that, right? So in we go with the mushrooms, like that. Just press them down. They'll steam internally and they'll just caramelize on the outside. Really nice. So as that does its little thing there, I'm gonna season up these steaks. Very, very simple seasoning. Fairly nice seasoning with salt, pepper, and then a key little ingredient, if you haven't got it, go get it, you should all have it, is Chinese or Thai 5-spice or 7-spice. It's a really beautiful blend of different sort of aromatic spices. You can get it in all of the supermarkets, all of them, and it just basically means that you can bring lamb chops, pork chops, chicken breasts, even like a piece of cod to life. You can put it in broths and stews. You can do beautiful things, right? So just give that a nice, generous rub with that spice. And what I find it does is when you pan sear it in a hot pan, like you get this bark, like a tree bark, this dark, mysterious, like spice on the outside. And of course on the inside, you've just got the purity of deliciously, I'm gonna go kind of medium rare unless I overcook it by mistake, which I might do because, you know, I'm yapping and you're filming. Come and have a little look at this. Let's see if we've got any caramelization happening that's interesting. Look, okay, so look, you can see. Caramelization beginning to happen with no fat at all. So dry frying, so incredibly healthy. So again, what I love about this technique, whether it's on a barbecue, over wood, over charcoal, even in a dry pan, is we get nutty flavors. So that's the same with asparagus. It's the same with things like spring onions, little slices of fennel, mushrooms. So there's no fat changing or kind of breaking down. It's just pure like veg and steam. Then when it comes off, dress it. Good olive oils, good citrus, good vinegars, good herbs, as a philosophy, as a thought, right? So this is a cool little principle, and we haven't even started cooking yet. So what next? Okay, let's get chopping. Spring onions, good or bad, it doesn't really matter. We're gonna just slice up spring onions, 2 or 4, it doesn't really matter, right? So just do whatever. Chili, I love chili, I really do. And I've trained my kids to love chili, so that's nice. Just break all of that up, put that into a little pile. I think it's nice. So this is a 15-minute meal. I guess the emotion is, oh, you know, I've got home, it's 6 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock. I'm tired, maybe I'm stressed. Did I have a good day? Did I have a bad day? Who knows? You know, the kids, I might come and help Jules, put the kids to bed, bath them, that kind of vibe. But the idea, like in a world where everyone is ordering like Deliveroo, Just Eat, like it's never cheap, is it? Even cheap junk food, like when you buy it for 4 people, it's never cheap. Do you know what I mean? Like, so the fact that actually, probably if you're going to buy something comparative for 4 people, probably it's going to cost twice as much as you buying it, right? The fact that you can make your food and you're putting love into it is kind of cool. I've got ginger here. Ginger, nice thumb-sized piece. I'm just going to use the knife just to scrape it like that. You can slice it and you can chop it. It doesn't really matter. I love ginger. It's hot. It's fragrant. It's therapeutic. It's so good for you. This one's got a little minging black bit, so I'll cut that out, but that's life, isn't it? Sometimes you have a little minging bit. So that goes there. So I'm guessing we're about halfway through. Let's have a look in the pan. Can you see how these mushrooms, just come and see how they've shrunk. So just think about it. What's the context of shrinking? Something getting smaller, concentration, amping up flavor, right? So let's now take that, right? Let's put it back in the bowl that it once came from. Pan's gone on, it's still clean, right? I haven't even got to do any washing up, right? So normally, if I wasn't yapping to you, I might have a little glass of wine. Normally, if I wasn't yapping to you, I might have some tunes on. Normally, if I wasn't yapping to you, probably River would have set light to something or exploded something or something's come smashing through the window. So I might have to reprimand him, naughty step, again. So, you know, life. That's why you need delicious food in your life. So chop up the ginger any old how. I don't care how you chop it up, like brunoise it, slice it, matchstick it, finely chop it, don't care. I just don't care. If you think I don't care, you do whatever you like. So look, flavour base there. I'm going to use olive oil. Use whatever oil you want. I have olive oil. That's what I do. So I'm going to take our lovely steak, and I'm going to just drag it through the fat. Yeah, it's not going to take long to cook. So we've got that going. I've got some garlic here. So 2 or 4 garlic cloves. I'm slicing it. What I did on 15-minute meals, it became a little bit of a thing. I actually used a Jamie Oliver garlic crusher. Oh, wow, wow. And I was like, just get a garlic. Where's the garlic clove? I'm sure I saw it there. There it is. Get a garlic clove. And I just put it in like this. And then basically I showed them that you didn't have to peel it. You could just basically push it out like that, which it did, right? So, and everyone's like, it doesn't work. I said, get a Jamie Oliver one. Subtle push. Yeah, fair enough. Look, about 1.5 minutes each side. Can you see how dark that is? Angle that fat. It's hot, it's aggressive. Those spices, that seasoning, you know, it's doing good things. It's not in the recipe, but I've got lime. Whenever I see lime, I get excited. Give it a roll. That encourages the oils in the skin. You can see it's already making it shiny. Take some of that. I've got a fine grater. Just put some of that zest. It's just flavour for free. You know, it'll just wake up your taste buds. I'll take a little bit of coriander, stalks. I'll just finely, roughly chop up the stalks. Keep that for garnish. So look, we're sort of heading towards 4 minutes. I've got my lime. Noodles haven't gone in yet. I think I'm going to take the steak off. I want them a little bit under. So as these steaks rest, I'm going to put them onto the mushrooms here. So if they're going to rest anyway, I don't want to waste that resting juice. Right, so they'll rest there. Here in this fat, we'll go in with the garlic. We'll go in with the ginger. Go in with the chilli. Like, I don't care what order you do it in. I don't care. Right, I've got some spring onions. Just give it a little toss. Of course, if I had a wok, I'd use one. But I've got a nice big pan. I'll go in with the spring onions. And I'll go in with the noodles. So in we go there. Pan, and I'll put a bit of salt in there as well, which is nice. As I toss this up, just go in with the coriander stalks. And I've even got time to have a little clean down. So, lovely board. Take this over here. Actually, salad, any old salad. In the recipe, I think it was romaine lettuce, but anything you can get. And some radishes. I'll take some radishes like that. And some cheap old egg and cress. So, I'll just take my knife and finely slice the radishes. You can use vinegar, or you can use lime if you want, just to kind of give them a bit of a pickle vibe. So just a little squeeze like that is nice. Bit of salt. So you got that there. You can pound up the lovely nuts and sesame seeds, which is lovely. We'll toss this pan and we'll go straight in with prawns and the bean sprouts. So we'll give that a nice little toss around. I love this. The old-fashioned egg and cress. Egg sandwich, right? So that's part of our garnish world. Love that. So toss this up. That's looking good. Now I'm going to use soy sauce to taste. We're going to go like a couple of tablespoons, maybe 3 of hoisin. Goes in. Mix it up. The noodles are nearly there. While that's doing its magic, I'm going to lay out my bowls like that. I'm going to take the steak and just slice it through like that, nice and fine. Look how nicely that's cooked. Beautiful. Let's take some of this lettuce. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's get some more of that. Looks lovely. Anything crunchy that you can get your hands on that we're going. And for my team, just shout out when we've got to 15 minutes because I want to keep it real. We're pretty much getting there now. Mushrooms go in. We're going to go in now. The time is now. 15 minutes is up, my lovely people. So you can disqualify me for being a minute over. I mean, I have been talking to you lot after all. But look, in with the noodles. All I do now is just adjust the seasoning here, right? Toss this up, lime juice, salt, pepper, soy. Soy to taste. You didn't see that, but this is life. Go in with those hot, beautiful noodles. Look at those lovely mushrooms, it's gorgeous. And look, we're gonna feed 4 people here. So drag those noodles in like that. Nice. I love it. Hot, steamy noodles is my thing. Spice. Hoisin's just a great little cheat. Such a wonderful little flavor combination. So let's just go. I'm rinsing it now. I'm probably 16 minutes. So you can get me for like, you know, promising the 15, but I'm pretty happy with that. To make TV and yap to you lot is all good. We're going to take that steak. Look at that, prawns, mushrooms, steaks. It just looks great. And divide that up across the portions there. I was a bit generous there. But look, if you've got kids and family that like bigger or smaller things, it's all good. We'll have our little wedge of lime to squeeze over the top. Joy, joy, joy. I really love using the cresses. So that retro cress, just a little pinch here and there is beautiful. The coriander tops, mint, basil, coriander, freshness, joy, optimism, healthiness. Like for me, that embodied this book. I know, right, I'm a minute and a half over. I apologize, but you know, I promise you I can do them in 15 minutes when I'm not working. But that's it, guys. Delicious home-cooked food. Food that's alive, food that's got flavor. That's what it's all about. I love it. This is the kind of food that makes me really, really happy. Look, we got the little semi-pickled radishes. Look at the color, guys, color. So cooking doesn't have to be boring. This, without question, will be cheaper than getting a takeaway, right? Takeaways are super convenient, but you know deep down once you've finished it, you feel guilty and it's cost a fortune. And yeah, I love a takeaway, but like, if you can do it better yourself, it was fun to do. It's fun to do. And look, we've got this to wash up. It's not the end of the world. Lovely people. Seared beef with noodles and all those lovely things. Hopefully, I hope you got a bit of love and soul and a little bit of excitement from that. And I hope you can do that in your home and give this to someone that you love. So let me just take this washing up over and then time to eat. So that's the 15-minute meal vibe, right? Let's have a little try up. A beautiful piece of beef. That Chinese 5-spice is brilliant. It's really interesting, really joyful. Come, let's get in there. So there you go, celebrations of 25 years since The Naked Chef. There he is, a little bit younger, a little bit more energy. 15-minute meals. Enjoy. Lots of love, guys. People often presume that to have a restaurant quality meal, you've got to put hours and hours of work in, and it's not the case. I've been working on the most delicious recipe. This is a midweek meal that is so fresh and delicious, and it looks amazing. It's a 10-minute meal, and it's a lovely piece of cod. I've got lovely seasonal asparagus, and we're making an amazing version of a hollandaise, and it's embracing the much-loved avocado. This is a hollandaise like you've never seen before. Really easy, no splitting, and when you see it all together, I think you're gonna love it. And it's healthy as well, full of colour. So first up, normally with a classic hollandaise, you'd have vinegar or lemon juice, and you would kind of fragrance that with herbs, black peppercorns and stuff like that. So I'm gonna kind of go down that alley, right? I'm gonna take spring onions instead of shallots, and I'll just take the green part and just slice that up like that and put that into a pan. I'm then gonna add the juice of half a lemon straight into there and a little swig of white wine vinegar. So that's going to give you the tang and acidity that works so well with fish. So lemon juice goes in, catch any pips, like that. A pinch of black pepper. I'll take a little salt as well. And then I'm going to add a little kiss of water, about 100 millilitres, and we're just going to let that infuse. So that'll come up to the boil. We don't need any more time than that. Let's just talk about the hollandaise. It's a classic French sauce. It's a fundamental sauce. And it's golden, it's silky, it's delicious. And it's all about emulsifying egg yolks with fat, butter. It can split when you're making it, if you're not really careful. And it can split when you keep it warm, when you're doing your dinner parties. So I'm gonna take all of that away. Please do not stress. Now, normally, when you do a hollandaise, what you would do is get your egg yolks and beat it and whisk it over a bain-marie, which is a little pot of boiling water, and then add your clarified butter, okay, along with this, right? I'm gonna simplify it much, much more. So I'm gonna take the egg, and the egg yolk I'll put straight into this little liquidizer. At the same time, I'm gonna take our source of fat. We're not using butter, we're gonna use avocado, a nice, ripe avocado. So simply get a knife, cut it very carefully down to the stone, and then just click it out like that. You can give it a little tap with a knife, stone comes out, and take that beautiful, vivid green avocado out, and that goes in. And actually, the texture and fibre in the avocado really stabilises the whole thing. It takes the risk out. The herb, I'm going to keep, you know, pretty classic with some lovely tarragon. Now, the truth is, you can have fun with this. If you wanted to do mint or basil or parsley or marjoram, you can. Tarragon has got that aniseed kind of flavour, which is very good with asparagus and fish. 3 or 4 sprigs go in. I'll put that to one side. As soon as that water, lemon and vinegar has come to the boil, we're good to go. We'll go into our blender, very carefully get all those lovely bits of spring onion. Try and use a nice white wine vinegar. It does really make a difference. So no more whisking, right? No more vulnerability, no more possibility of splitting. And although I'll be banned from France for life for doing this recipe, it is a really clean, beautiful, silky, elegant sauce. Look at that colour. Vivid green, silky smooth. So give it a nice little wazz up, and that's it. That's the sauce done. Look at this, guys. This would be the bit where normally you're worried about splitting it. It's delicious, really, really good. I'll adjust the seasoning, very important, and I'll put just a little extra boiling water in this just to adjust the consistency to your liking. So I'll just buzz this up just to make it a little bit lighter. The colour is just amazing. Look at that. The perfume from the tarragon and the tang of the vinegar and the lemon juice is going to be so good with the fish. Now you can serve this hot, warm, or even room temperature, okay? So I'm going to keep it just warm for the moment. So that's the first part of the recipe, very simple. The next bit, which is kind of the end of the recipe, we're going to cook the fish and asparagus. So we'll get that on full whack in the same pan, and we're going to steam. So steaming is a beautiful, elegant, very healthy, clean method of cooking, right? And I think it's particularly good with fish. So I'm gonna add just a centimetre of water to a pan and bring that to the boil. Now, I'm gonna cook some lovely white fish. I've got 2 portions of cod here. Now, you could have pollock, megrim, whatever is sustainable, whatever is local. You know, you can have real fun with this, but what I have to do in this steaming method is cook the asparagus at the same time as the fish. So this is about 4 minutes, right? I reckon that's gonna take about 5 minutes. So you can control how quickly your fish cooks by how you choose to cut it. And it's as simple as cut it in half. Now, when I steam that, that's 4 minutes. That's gonna cook at the same time as that. And this asparagus is beautiful. It's really nice seasonal veg. What I want to do is take that woody end off. Now this, don't throw away. This makes the most amazing soup. A stew, fantastic in broths, or you can even compost it. We should all be composting. And this asparagus will now go on the bottom of the pan and become a trivet for putting the fish on top. I want to season the cod with some salt all over. I don't want to do it with pepper because I want it to stay pearly white and clean. So put your fish like that, boom, boom. How beautiful is that? And then lid on top. So we're boiling on the bottom and we're steaming on the top. This is gonna be amazing. 4 minutes, that's it, 4 minutes, couple of minutes. Mate, we're doing really well. So let's do kind of what you would call a garnish. Let me just wash my hands and clean my knife. So I'll take these 2 white parts of the base of 2 spring onions, cut them in half, and try and use your best knife skills just to slice them up as thin as you can. Now, a nice little tip here is if you get some iced water, these will all curl up and go extra crunchy. And that will apply to anything crunchy you want to slice up. It could be a radish, it could be a chili, it could be even herbs. Literally just water and a few ice cubes is all you need. And now I just want to pick a few leaves of that tarragon. Tarragon is the main driver of flavour in that sauce. Just sort of helps finish it off really nicely. Give that a little mix. Now, I can't help myself but to put a little bit of chilli in there as well. Just a couple of bits of chilli, but you can see, look at the colours. Just gorgeous. And guys, that's it. Look how simple this is to plate up, right? Plate, sauce, couple of tablespoons goes on. Just use the back of the spoon just to kind of move it around a little bit. Then the fish comes off, right? It's done. Lid. Look at the lovely chunks of cod. Be delicate with them. And get your lovely asparagus. And place this like that on top. And this probably feels more pedantic than I would normally do, but I don't care because I'm kind of excited. Place the fish on top. Some of this lovely spring onion, chilli and tarragon, and just whip off the cold water. And we'll just kind of hold that on top like that. And that's it. And even if you do this badly and roughly, it will be beautiful. Really fresh, really healthy, really vivacious. A little kiss of lovely olive oil. And that is a beautiful, beautiful dish. In the middle of the week, come on, darling, a little bit of lunch. There you go. Oh, what's that? Oh, I've got a nice little avocado hollandaise. Oh, what you been doing now? Yeah, seconds. Lovely steamed fish and asparagus. Oh, you must have worked so hard. Seconds. Well, minutes. So there we go. I think it's fresh, it's really healthy, and super beautiful. Just look at that. Right, let's get in there. Let's just get the perfect little mouthful. Bit of asparagus, bit of sauce. Let's have a little bit of tarragon. You still get that richness from the avocado. The tang from the lemon juice and the vinegar is so good. And then that method of steaming the fish, look how it just flakes. Look at that, it just literally flakes apart. So delicate. It's a lovely little mouthful. And often when you're steaming fish, it's kind of, you know, possibly bland, but not this. It's full of flavour, full of texture. Classy. really classy, and the three things work so well together. Wow, what a dish. Right, superb. So, I'm going to do a beautiful dish that completely celebrates how beautiful peas are. And I've got some water on, spaghetti. And what I want to do is take about half of that, about 2 portions worth, give it a little twist, drop it in here. Lovely. Maybe a little bit more for luck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make meatballs, right? The quickest meatballs. I'm going to make meatballs in the time it takes that pasta to cook. I've got some fantastic sausages. These are from the butcher, and look at them. I mean, they're pretty amazing. You can get any sausage you want, as long as it's good. So, you know, something like a Cumberland or a fresh Italian sausage or something like that. All you have to do is get a pan hot, which that is, have a nice drizzle of olive oil, right? And get your sausage and literally pinch it and pull it out, drop. Pinch it, pull it out, drop. Dead simple. And you don't have to sit there and sort of go, oh no, I have to roll them around and get them absolutely perfect, because, you know, life's too short, and quite frankly, I like things a bit rustic anyway. Now, sauce, tomato sauce. I've got the quickest, most delicious tomato sauce. So what you do, slice up a couple of cloves of garlic. I want to use basil. Basil, tomatoes, best friend, there's no debate there. Stalk, I want. Leaves off, stalk, I want. Leaves off. Right, you can pick out your little pretty camp leaves, which I love. Nice to sprinkle on top. The big old leaves, let's chop them up. Stalks, nothing wrong with those. Don't you dare throw them away. Waste of money. Loads of flavour in there. I'm going to put the garlic and the basil stalks into the pan. That'll start frying. Let's have a little swirly-whirly of the pasta. All right, not done. It'll be done in 2 minutes. I've got to do this in 2 minutes. Nice and golden. Garlic's going. Basil leaves. We're going to cook it so short, so that whole thing about basil at the end, absolutely true. It is almost at the end because we haven't even started yet. So give it a little toss like that. And then in with some good tinned tomatoes. Pour the juice in. Get the extra tomatoes in your hand. Scrunching through your finger. All I want to do is bring them to the boil. Have a little taste. A little bit more salt, a bit more pepper. And I'll tell you what I'm going to do, little cheat, just a nice little blob of balsamic vinegar. That'll give it a nice little sweetness. Here we go. Lovely. And then what I'm going to do is I've got some golden oregano. You could use normal green oregano, thyme, even rosemary. Just take it off. In with the meatballs. They'll crispen up, they'll look lovely. Oregano, meat, pork, lovely. Sausages are cooked through. Pasta's now nicely cooked. I'm not going to put it with my tomato sauce. I want to do it sort of slightly more Italian in the sense of toss it with the meat and all the lovely juice and all of that sort of stuff. Straight in there. Give it a toss. And the first thing the pasta sucks up is all that lovely sort of like herbs from the oregano, the sort of lovely flavours that come out of the sausage. And then to serve it, all I'm going to do is take a nice wad of my pasta and I get my lovely tomato sauce in the middle, load it up, because as soon as anyone puts their fork anywhere near it, it's going to cover it all in it. And then don't forget your meatballs. Right, now, obviously, peas and broad beans is my day-to-day, and there's not been a single pea or broad bean go anywhere near this. But the tweak is, and I think this is completely genius, you know, you get your little peas, you crack them open, you know, pasta makes you feel happy, lovely meatball, lovely, and you got that sweet tomato sauce, and then you get these raw peas that are going through it, and they just pop, 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 sweet, really, really nice. And then just finish it with a few lovely little basil leaves, and that is a superb dinner. 10 minutes, so good. When days are busy and you've got loads going on, It's easy to find yourself cooking up the same old dinners. But I've got an exciting little dish that you can knock out for your friends when you've not seen them in a while, to show them just how much you love them. My mate, Gennaro's here, and a lot of his life he spent cooking for me. Now I'm going to cook for him. We're going to do a beautiful pasta dish. This meal is done and dusted in the time it takes to cook some linguine or some spaghetti. So we're doing a prawn linguine, right? That's where we're starting. So we're going to do prawns. We're going to do pancetta, so surf and turf. We're going to do a sauce with mascarpone. And, wait for it, red wine. A kiss of garlic and a little bit of pasta.
It's going to be so good that you will love to make it.
It's one of those pastas that I think everyone has got to master, because it's one of those things that just kind of hits the spot and it feels a bit posh. So, Gennaro, if you can just finely slice that into little matchsticks.
A little matchstick.
So 4 slices of pancetta. So here I've got 2 cloves of garlic that I've just finely sliced. What we'll do now, because this is a really, really quick meal, Gennaro, if you can just grab like 2 portions of pasta. So that is our timer, right? It's like 10, 11 minutes to cook the lovely linguine. Of course, you could use any pasta you've got. I quite like with linguine like a ribbon pasta, like a noodle-style pasta. Look at the way he puts it into that water. Beautiful.
Nice bit of salt.
So pasta's cooking.
Yeah.
I'll turn the pan on now, put that pancetta in the pan. I'll just kiss it with a little olive oil.
There it goes. You don't need very much. 4 thin slices, they're plenty.
So look, you can see the heat coming up in the pan, the fat's starting to render from that beautiful smoked pancetta. It already smells amazing. This is a perfect time to prep the prawns. Now, prawns we love. Everyone's buying prawns most of the time, frozen, fresh, cooked, uncooked, shell on. So I just want to show you a little preparation. About 160 grams. You don't need loads of prawns for this. So what I do, first of all, is just get the head, twist it. Most of the sweet, delicious flavour is in the head. So you can put that in there with the pancetta, right? That's where the flavour's at. Then, with this part, what I'll do is just peel off that shell. Very, very simple. And they have beautiful prawns in Italy, don't they, Gennaro?
It is the food. It comes so natural when you cook, because you cook with your heart.
I love it when you talk about food, Gennaro. Can you see how the prawn head is changing colour? So that's just a little bit of heat and it's gone orange. Now let me show you how to butterfly the prawn. Get a knife, run it very carefully down the back of the prawn, just like that. And then more than often, there's a little vein in here that you can remove. Just pull that out, and then that's butterflied, ready and raring to go. At the same time, for sweetness, deliciousness, texture and flavour, I'll take the rest of the prawns and I'll finely chop them, because it's going to stick to the linguine in the most beautiful way. One thing is for sure, and Gennaro taught me this, is you do not want to overcook prawns. They're really, really sensitive. They cook so quickly. So this is where it gets exciting. Gennaro, give those prawn heads a little squeeze. Look at the juice come out of those prawn heads. Just have a look at that.
Just a little squeeze on top. You can see, look, there we go. Oh my goodness me.
So bacon, crispy. You got the juices from the prawns, happy days. Then we're gonna go in with the garlic. Now we can kind of turn the heat of the pan up a little bit. Now let's get this party going. Gennaro, how long on that pasta?
Nearly ready. 1 more minute.
So I'll take these whole prawns and put them in that lovely fat. You can see how that little preparation with the butterflying opens the prawn out. It looks better, it takes on the flavour better, and it cooks quicker.
Really smell nice.
So I want to do a blushing prawn linguine, right? So I'm going to use some red wine, right? Which often people say white wine. But if you go to Italy, they use red wine in really creative ways. So as the pan, you can tell is hot, right? See it bubbling and sizzling. Now I'm going to go in with some nice Italian red wine. Half a glass.
Wow.
Very importantly, I do not want that to be winey. I do not want the wine to overtake the deliciousness of the prawns. So we're going to cook it away. The alcohol will go, and then you're just kind of left with the love and the care from the winemaker, the kind of flavour of like oaky, gorgeous, ripe fruits, and the sort of flavour of like barrels and love and care.
The sweetness, the love and care. You say so good.
You taught me.
No, but this is pure love, passion in a pan.
Now it's going to get exciting again, because now we go in with mascarpone. Now mascarpone is a very famous Italian cheese.
Of course it is. It's a cream cheese. It's so natural, so good.
And then go in with the chopped prawns. right? They do not need that much time, right? Literally, the residual heat from the pasta will be enough to cook these. And look how the mascarpone and the wine is marbling together. Now, I will give this pan to Gennaro.
My goodness, look at that. Proper al dente. Oh,
so what Gennaro's doing now, very stylishly, is emulsifying the fat from the mascarpone and from the pancetta with the water from the cooking of the pasta. By doing that, you get this incredible kind of light, oozy pasta sauce. Now, I'm going to add a little bit of Parmesan. Now, a lot of people say you should never put Parmesan
Rubbish.
with seafood. Complete rubbish. Go on, tell him, Gennaro.
It is rubbish. Why not? If you like a Parmesan, why not? It goes ever so well.
And then a nice big handful of peppery, gorgeous rocket.
Oh, there, it's ready.
Look at that. Gennaro is the chief pasta tosser. And then from this part of the story, just grab some lovely tongs. Look at the colour, guys. Come on. The way that that blushing sauce just sticks to the pasta. Look at the juice. Look, the juice that's coming. Yeah, go on. Juice, juice, juice. Whole prawns, whole prawns. And then it's quite nice just to finish it with just a few small rocket leaves. That, my friends, it's a dish. Surf and turf linguine. Prawn linguine with smoky pancetta, mascarpone and red wine. Enough talking, my friend. Let me just plate up. Gennaro, that's for you.
Love you.
What I really love about this is the use of the red wine.
Buon appetito.
Silky.
Oh, my God.
Wow. You know what? A lot of people would have thrown those prawn heads in the bin. You get kind of that depth of flavour like an amazing sort of seafood soup. The prawns are really sweet, aren't they, Gennaro?
They are indeed. I don't even talk. I love it.
How nice is this? Got me best mate, nice day, cooking outside, lovely little pasta dish, heavenly. I dedicate that pasta to you.
No, bless them.
Salute!
Salute, give me the more pasta.
Beautiful pasta carbonara. I'm going to get you as close to the classic technique as possible, and I'm going to give you a nice little surprise for ingredient number 5. I'm going to use penne. This one takes 10 minutes. We're going to go in with 300 grams of the pasta, and then we're going to season that with salt. Let's talk about the other classic ingredient. Fresh eggs, smoked bacon. That's what I'm going to use today. Then on to the cheese. I'm going to use Parmesan today because I think it's more accessible. Now look, as this has come to the boil, lid will come off. Let's give it a nice little stir so nothing sticks together. And let's get cooking. I'm going to start by being controversial in the sense of I'm going to add a veg. This is not classic at all. I'm going to use some lovely asparagus. Why? Because it cooks really quickly, because it's sweet and delicious, because it contrasts the salty, smoky, savoury flavours. What I would encourage you to do is to cut it to around the same size as this pasta. I'm just going to cut the asparagus stalk at a slight angle. OK, so pasta cooking. Let's start frying things. So take your bacon, and I'm just going to thinly slice it. I'm going to go into the pan with a little oil. And then we want to render the fat out of the bacon and get it nice and golden. So while that's happening, I want to do my egg sauce. Take 4 eggs, remove the yolk, leaving behind the white. So the yolk here is delicate, it's rich, and that's what's going to thicken this sauce. Save those egg whites, put them in the freezer, and that will be for another day. So now, if we look in the pan, it's getting nice and golden and crispy, and I want to give you a nice convincing amount of black pepper now, right? So about a teaspoon. Let's finish this sauce. So I'm going to take the Parmesan. A little handful is all I need. Now, just whip it up. I'm going to steal just a little bit of cooking water and just stir it in. You can see the bacon is nice and dark. We're going to go in with the asparagus. Eggs cook really quick. We do not want scrambled egg, okay? So I'm now going to turn the heat of this pan off. I'm then going to take the pasta and some of this water into this pan, and we'll go in with the penne. So you want this pan to cool down. If you put that egg sauce in there now, it would scramble. You want to just leave it for 1 minute. Then we're going to go in with the sauce, like that. And it's that residual heat that gives you the classic sauce. Look at that. Just beautiful. Silky smooth, elegant. And then to finish, just one little stroke, Parmesan on top, and one last little flourish of black pepper. Oh, look at that. Come on. The flavour is massive.
This chicken and mushroom tray bake is all about easy assembly. After a satisfying short 10 minutes of prep, the oven does all the hard work for you. Weeknight or weekend, that's a simple dinner sorted.
So, classic mushroom, beautiful. I've got 400 grams, make sure they're nice and clean. Then the chicken, I want to use a nice big fat thigh, right, on the bone, skin on, maximum flavour, sweet, delicious meat that falls off the bone. I'm going to put the hob on here, on like a medium heat. I just want a little bit of heat to brown up that chicken skin. Little olive oil in the pan. Take the chicken and I'll season it up with salt and pepper. I'm actually going to cover it in the oven, and that's going to give you very tender chicken in the most beautiful way, but it won't give you much browning. So what I'll do is I'll start that browning process now by just using the tray, not just for baking and roasting, but also a little frying. We can do that. So put them skin side down in the tray, and I'm just going to lightly brown them. Chicken thighs are amazing, they're great value. Having the bone and skin on gives you more flavour. So just fry these off for like 3 or 4 minutes until lightly golden. Have a little look at this. That's all I want. It's just a gesture of getting that skin crispy. I'll turn the gas off now, but that's sizzling away. So let's begin putting these flavour combos together. So I'm going to use some pretty everyday tinned items from the cupboard. Butter beans, they're big, fat and creamy, but you could use any bean you like. And then I've got some mushroom soup. This is condensed mushroom soup. The idea is this little hack helps amp up the flavour of the things that we're putting in there, and it stops you having to make a sauce with another pan, more washing up, and for quick kind of like midweek cooking, this tray bake, I want to work hard for you, right? I don't want you to cook harder, I want you to think smarter. That's what it's all about, right? Another little hack, I love fresh spinach, I buy it, I grow it, but believe it or not, I also have it frozen. And frozen spinach is brilliant. It's really convenient to have, but also it's been blanched and wrung out, and that means it's perfect for cooking. So I'll take 4 of these for 4 people, for our 4 thighs, and for me, spinach with creamy mushroom is just an absolute joy. Right, let's put this together because it's unbelievably quick. We're gonna go in with the mushrooms, right? They're all washed. If you've got some big ones, you can just cut them in half, no trouble at all. I'm then gonna go in with the beans. Drain most of that liquid. Beans go in. Now, this tin isn't just for the beans. Think of this tin as your measure. 1 tin of water, 1 tin of rice, and then your tin here of mushroom soup. That'll be enough liquid to cook you 4 portions of the most beautiful rice every single time. It's a great little hack. I want you to have delicious meals that you can rattle out. I want these combinations and these quantities to work for you every single time. The fact that you can put this together so quickly, whack it in the oven, do what you gotta do, 40, 50 minutes later, dinner, wow, that's what it's all about, right? So look, last things in, we'll go in with the spinach, a little olive oil, basic seasoning of salt and pepper. Then get yourself a lovely lemon, and I'm gonna use the juice later. That's another story, but I want the zest. This zest is unbelievable flavour. Just mix everything up. I want the chicken skin on the top because we want that to get crisp later. And then you're ready to go. Grab a little bit of tin foil and just kind of crimp it up the sides. This now goes in the oven for 45 minutes at 200 degrees Celsius, which is 400 Fahrenheit. And then I'll whip off that tin foil and give it a few minutes to get golden on top. It's gonna be delicious. Right. Yes. Right, do this carefully, but look at that. Hot and steamy. So I'm now just gonna put it back in for just a couple of minutes, just to get a little bit of crispiness on the top. Okay, I've got one little thing that I think takes this to the next level, and it's using mustard, right? 4 big teaspoons of English mustard. Then we're gonna hit it up with lemon juice. Slap it with freshness and that electric kind of citrus. Enough to make it nice and loose. Because when I get my plate of like rice, chicken, spinach, I want to sprawl that all over the place. Just amazing. So this is the simplest little hack. Right, let's check that chicken. The skin's now dancing. I actually do this quite a lot, which is very sad. Watching things crackle. I think we're good. Let's go for it. Come on. Look at that. What a beautiful dinner. The oven's done all the hard work. Let's portion some up. Some bits around the edge have just caught, which I love. Put the chicken on top and a bit of oyster mushroom. It looks really good. And then your lemony English mustard. That is a brilliant tray bake meal right there. Let's have a little try. Oh. I love it. The chicken is delicious, it's tender. It's a humble thigh, right? But it's given so much flavour to the rice. Like that spinachy freshness with the unctuous rice, the heat of the lemony mustard and the chicken. This tastes like I've been cooking for hours, but you saw it, right? What we're talking about is big flavour, but simple preparation. Get it in that tray, mix it up, cover it, cook it. Eat it. So good.
My Tin Raid fish cakes transforms trusty staples into something really special. Served with a simple crunchy slaw, this is the easy road to exciting flavour.
Often, when you're a chef, people think you don't really use things in tins or jars. You do. These are lifesavers. So pan on, medium heat. By the time that heats up, we'll be ready to cook our fish cakes. So first one, I love tinned potatoes. They're picked at their best and they're already cooked, right? So this gives us, in a busy life, this ability to react very quickly when you'd normally have to peel and wait for things to cook. Next up, tinned tuna. So drain that off. We got sweet corn, all great value. So here's our primary ingredients. How are we gonna bind that all together? Egg is a classic binder of a fish cake. So we'll put an egg into there. We need a bit more than that. So the potatoes, if you break them up, they'll bind. That's good. We still need a bit more. Stale bread. It doesn't have to be stale, but if it is, it doesn't matter. Put that in the juice from your potatoes, or the tuna juice, and then squeeze it out like that. And this will give a lightness and a sort of delicate texture to our beautiful fish cakes. So, nearly there. Mustard. English mustard. So these are all things that most of us have in our cupboards, and if you haven't, I highly recommend getting them in there. I haven't stopped yet. Just a little handful of coarsely grated cheese. Little pops of cheese melting inside your fish cake. Oh, this is gonna be amazing, right? go heavy on the black pepper. So what we can do is scrunch it between your hands like that. Bring in all the ingredients and dress it in that egg. If you've got lemon hanging around, just take the zest. So look, loads of flavors going on there. Once we've got that mixed up, push it down like that. We'll cut this mixture in half and then into quarter. It's completely not accurate, but I don't care. Then we'll take each half and put it into two. So roughly you're gonna get 8 little patties. Some might be bigger and smaller, but my kids are bigger and smaller, so that's all right. Put it into a little snowball like that. So, olive oil in the pan, which is just heated up. Take some regular all-purpose flour, plop it in the flour like that. It just gives that nice golden crispiness. And I'm gonna put it on the palm of my hand, press it down. You can go as thick or as thin as you want. I'll do one fish cake, slightly bigger than the other. So, round ball in the flour, it's as simple as that. So I've got 2 in the pan. These can go in the fridge. You can use them in the next couple of days. They take about, look, on a medium heat, I think like 3 or 4 minutes on each side until golden and crisp. Let's turn it over. Let's see what's going on. They're looking beautiful. Then I'm gonna make a delicious homemade slaw, a fridge-raid slaw, right? So I don't care if you've got Brussels sprouts, red cabbage, white cabbage, anything crunchy. Fennel, carrots, sprouting broccoli. I've got a bit of onion. You could have apple, you could have pear. Speed peeler. Let's get into the vibe. A bit of onion. Don't need much. We're gonna go red cabbage. Anything you can get and great, I'm gonna take asparagus. Thinking about when I grew up as a kid in school, the idea of a slaw, it was cabbage, carrot, onion, mayonnaise, right? Let me give you another option. I can reduce the fats by 90% if you let me swap out your mayo for beautiful yogurt. Now with the fennel, I'm just using the little top bit, the stalks. And I think if people are honest, they normally throw that away. Apple, anything you can grate, you can slaw. So enough yogurt to cover it. That's your creaminess. Let's go for whole grain mustard. That goes in, a little teaspoon. We could use vinegar or lemon juice. Fish, lemon juice. We've already used the zest. Let's go for it. And then any herb, basil, mint, parsley. I've got some dill. Just tear it off. Rustic slaw and mix it up. Now that beautiful red cabbage is gonna stain it all. So hopefully within about 40 seconds, we're gonna have the most beautiful ruby fridge-raid slaw. Look at that. Let's have a taste. Right, it needs more salt. I'll take the pepper. It needs a little olive oil. The mustard's good. The creaminess is there. So let me just wash my hands. For me, this is real life. Like, I'm not always sitting there cooking steaks and like posh things, like, you know, I'm a dad, I'm busy, I'm juggling, right? I crave things like a beautiful fish cake, but I might not have the fish, but I've got the tins. Solutions and enthusiasm, that's what this is all about. Let's plate this up. That's gonna sit on the bottom. And if you've got some, just the smallest amount of feta cheese crumbled and rained down on top is just a beautiful thing. This is simple cooking that delivers big. Lemon. Come on, yes. Get in there. Look at that crispiness. Sweet, funky from the tuna, the cheese. It is really, really good. Let's go for the fridge-raid slaw. Like the way that the lemon juice and that yogurt and the mustard works, it's really, really silky. This is like minimal effort, super simple, super quick, like cheat cooking. I don't want you to work harder or cook harder. I want you to think and cook smart. That is what simple cooking is all about.
I'm making my utterly delicious cheesy bolognese buns.
Big pan, heat, full whack. Nice lug of olive oil. we're gonna use rosemary. You can use other herbs like thyme, oregano, or even a blend. Just take the rosemary off the stalk. And then what I wanna do is just get my knife to roughly chop it up. What I love about this recipe is it represents layer upon layer of flavor and depth and deliciousness. So when the rosemary starts to fry, I'm not using much bacon, like 4 rashers, smoked, but that smokiness is what I want. In we go with the bacon. So you can see the bacon starting to render the fat, that's a good thing. I'm gonna go in with black pepper, quite a lot. Let's say 2 big pinches. Then we're gonna go in with our mincemeat. 250 grams of pork and 250 grams of beef. And you get slightly more sweetness from the pork and you get the depth from the beef. 2 large cloves of garlic. Just take the little skin off, run your knife through it. If you have a look in that pan now, you can see some really nice color, which we like. 2 onions, ends off, half it. Finally slice the onions any way you want. If you do this at the weekend, you've got the time, but later in the month, it buys you time when you're busy and juggling 1,000 things. 2 sticks of celery. Very beautiful, very fragrant. Add a little bit of salt just to get the seasoning beginning to happen. Get yourself 2 carrots and just chop them up. And then we're gonna punch in with like depth of flavor veggies. 500 grams of mushrooms. You're gonna get really dark, delicious colors and flavors from this. So in with mushrooms. At this stage, I would normally add a little white or red wine. Delicious. But recently, I've been adding balsamic vinegar. 2 lovely tablespoons. It just gives an edge, and I love it. Look at the shiny, gorgeous, dark colors. This is gonna be a better bolognese, and I haven't even given you my best tip yet. 200 grams of tomato puree. Color, depth, intensity. Just kind of almost toasting it up a little bit does make it taste better. So look at the color. Darkness, caramelization, depth and layers of flavor. And we're gonna go in with 3 tins of lentils. There's something like magical about making a big old batch of something delicious that's gonna nourish the family. Then we're going in with plum tomatoes and we'll break it up in the pan. There's a fair amount of tomatoey goodness in here. So I'll fill this up with water, slush it about. For those 3 tins of tomatoes, we do 3 tins of water. So I want to go now from spoon to potato masher. Yes, we're going to break up the tomatoes, but we're also going to break up the lentils and the mincemeat. Now, there's one last big hack to making a better bolognese. I mean, you wait till Conker sees this, right? It's going to blow his mind. The secret ingredient is ribs. Oh! So this is a set of baby back ribs. This possesses the sweetest meat, but it also has bone. And that bone marrow is like better than any stock cube. If you don't try the ribs, you'll never know. Maybe I'm right. Bring it to the boil, and then we're gonna turn it down to a simmer for around 2 to 2.5 hours. When that meat falls off the bone, your ragu is ready. Come on. Lid on, turn it down. Come on, Conker. So we're just over 2 hours. As you start excavating these amazing pork bones, the meat will just shred. It's so tender. Use that masher to break up the big chunks of the rib meat. Have a little try. Depth, hearty, robust. It's making me want to smile. Adjust with some salt and a little bit of cold water. So this idea of adjusting is important, right? Take control. I guess I was thinking about like sloppy joes in America, which is like a burger bun with like sort of chili, mincemeaty kind of vibes. But like, we can go a step further. Take these 4 buns. Lids off. I'm thinking about making edible bowls. Just pull out the center. I'm just gonna throw that into the tray. In we go with the bowls. These bigger bits just tear up. These will make beautiful little croutons that we can dip into our better bolognese. And then we've got our nice little lids here that we can just put to one side like that. If I grab a herb of choice, I'm going thyme, some olive oil, and a couple of cloves of garlic. So I'm gonna do 2 things here. I'll cut the garlic in half and just rub it around the edges, rub it inside and on the lid as well. You'd be amazed how powerful this little rub is. So once you've done that, let's just slice this up. And then we're gonna take some thyme, put your fingers around it, pull it off, and you get those nice soft tips. Then the olive oil just helps to connect the story. So just mix up the garlic and the thyme, and then we just put this in and around our lovely little bowls. Oh, I forgot about the cheese, right? Cheesy bolognese buns. Use brie, use camembert, use a British equivalent, but this is camembert here. Cut half a camembert into quarters. Just place there, there, here, and there. We're gonna create like a little homemade easy fondue. Essentially, it's garlic bread with cheese in it and bolognese. It's like 3 of my favorite things in the whole wide world. In the oven for 10 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius, 350 Fahrenheit. Have a look at that. We've got all these little crispy bits around the edge because dunking is what it's all about. And then we simply fill it up with that beautiful bolognese. Be generous. Little bit of pepper. And then let it rain Parmesan. Beautiful. Oh, garlic bread. Good bolognese. To say that I'm happy right now is an understatement.
My chocolate tiramisu is the proof that a pudding can be both decadent and simple. I'm going to take you through 3 easy steps that will get you from the cupboard to a cake base in just 15 minutes prep. Finished with the quickest creamy topping, it's a game changer. Plus, it puts me slap bang in the good books with Jules.
Very simple. I've got a little inch of water here simmering away. I've got a heat-proof bowl. I've got 300 grams of good quality chocolate. You can get it in the supermarkets, 70% cocoa solids. Take that foil off and just shake it in. So chocolate is very important in the Oliver household. My wife loves it. It's her thing. Coffee and chocolate. And in what I'm cooking today, we're gonna get a double hit of both, right? So do not use aggressive heat. You want to delicately melt it. A little sprinkle of salt. I know it's weird. Salt allows you to salivate and taste the chocolate even more. It's really important. Next up, I'm going to grab myself a couple of bowls. I'm going to go in with 200 grams of golden caster sugar and 8 lovely free-range eggs. I'm going to put the whites in here. So the whites I'm going to use to give this beautiful cake aeration and its kind of sponginess. Over here, we're going to go in with the yolks. So look at those colours. Okay, so we've got 8 egg yolks. So angle that bowl and just whisk it up. And what you'll see is it goes pale and fluffy and air is getting trapped in there. So whisk this up until it's doubled in size. Look at that. Let's go and have a little check on our chocolate. Now, what I want to do, now the chocolate's starting to melt, is add 100 grams of butter. So I'm going to turn the gas off. Look at the shine. Just love the smell of chocolate. Let that cool down. And then the most important thing, the egg whites, right? We want to whip up those until they're really, really stiff. So a pinch of salt will really help to give you a nice stiff lift. And I could use a hand whisk, but instead, I've got power. So angle the bowl, start off slow, faster, faster, faster. Noisy, but very effective. So look, take that chocolate and mix it into the egg yolks. Use this whisk just to sort of fold through like that. Add 2 tablespoons of cocoa powder. Then we're going to take some of the egg white, just a little bit first. Then we'll go in with the rest, like that, and just lightly fold the chocolate and the eggs together. We don't want to batter out all of those beautiful air bubbles, because that's going to give you that lift. And just be patient. Now, one of the interesting things about this incredible chocolate dessert is it doesn't have any flour and it doesn't have any nuts. And that's kind of handy for me, because I've got 2 kids that can't have flour. So this is one of those brilliant recipes to have. It's fudgy and kind of unctuous and deep, deep, deep in chocolatey flavors. Bit of a win-win, right? So all of it comes out. I've got a nice little tray. It's 25 by 30 centimeters. And this cooks now for 15 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius, which is 350 Fahrenheit, and 15 minutes exactly, not a minute over. Have a look at that. Beautiful. So we can serve that as a cake in its own right, but I'm going to use it today as a base for one of the most incredible tiramisus ever. So while it's warm, you just make little holes around this sponge, and this means that it can absorb amazing flavors. So in the world of tiramisu, I want to pour over 50 mils of Cointreau, that orange liqueur. Just give it a good basting. Then we're going to go in with coffee. 150 mils of the best espresso you can get your hands on. And it's going to go in all those little holes. There's one last thing I want to do. Grab a little fine grater and a friend of chocolate, which is orange. And I just want to have some nice golden zest over the top like that. So this is definitely not a classic tiramisu. Beautiful. So the chocolate's cooled down, and I've got the classic mascarpone cream and then not so classic ricotta. It's a much lighter cheese. It has a freshness to it, and actually the two together, I think, are the holy grail. It works so well. So 500 grams of ricotta. Then we're going to go in with 500 grams of mascarpone cream. I'm going to add like 2 heaped tablespoons of golden caster sugar and a little kicker of vanilla paste. So 2 nice, generous teaspoons, beautiful flavour. So just kind of take a little bit of time just to beat it, dissolve that sugar, and get it shining. And then pour it into this tin. We're taking tiramisu to new heights. Up to the edges. I'm just going to do some little indentations, kind of to look funky, but also to catch the cocoa powder that I'm going to put on top in the most beautiful way. Let's get a little sieve. And the idea of having something just a little bit bitter and chocolatey over something so outrageously sweet. What a beautiful thing. Imagine that at a dinner party. People love tiramisu, but this is just amped up. Let's get in there for a nice little scoop out. Oh, come on. Look at that. Just decadence. Love it. Really nice with some beautiful cherries. That is a dessert to make people very, very happy. Let's try. Blissful. The chocolate sponge that's absorbed that coffee and the Cointreau is just outrageous. The freshness and richness from the mascarpone and the ricotta and that bitter chocolate topping. Three things in perfect harmony. Can you have the most decadent puddings and simplicity? Yes, you can.
My jarred pepper pasta uses just a few simple ingredients to create a brilliant time-saving midweek meal, and you wouldn't believe how easy it is to knock together.
So, big pan of water, season it with salt. We're gonna go in with some pasta. I'm using penne today. So in with the pasta. Lid back on top, just for a minute so it comes back up to the boil. We're gonna make a beautiful herb oil. So look, I wanna make a dish that's super fast, but also super elegant. Like, just because something's fast and simple doesn't mean it can't be incredible. So, we have parsley. Just grab it, rip off the top, okay? It could be basil, it could be mint, it could be any other fresh green herb. I'm gonna take this over to the liquidizer. I'll throw that in with, you know, a nice couple of lugs of oil, and I can make a flavored oil, and you can use that throughout the week. So you want just enough oil so you can whiz it all up, lid on top, full whack. Now, in no time at all, you've got this incredible, vibrant green oil. When you put that through a beautiful soup, stew, make a salad dressing out of it, put it over pasta, it is a truly, truly joyful thing. And you can keep that in the fridge, and it's just a nice little cheat to make food more interesting, more exciting. So in this same blender, I'm gonna go straight in with some beautiful peppers. These are roasted peppers. You get them in jars, shake it in, juice and all. These have been roasted, grilled, peeled, and de-seeded, and they will give you that glorious sunshine that you get from ripe peppers. So in there as well, I'm gonna go in with a nice big handful of almonds. And I'm not gonna roast or toast them. I want them to be raw and creamy and give you that silkiness, almost like you put double cream in the sauce, and it's gonna stick to the pasta in the most beautiful way. So in with a handful of that, then a little bit of heat. So some flaked dry chili here. Just go in with whatever you feel. So I want a nice hum in the background. It works really well with the sweetness of the peppers, but you don't have to go OTT. And then a little slug of extra virgin olive oil. Not much, don't need much. And a light seasoning of salt and a big seasoning of pepper. And then just a little thimble of red wine vinegar. Last ingredient to go in is cottage cheese. Now, it's not Italian, but you know what? It's an ingredient that you do find easily in the supermarket. So I'm going to use a couple of tablespoons in there, just to give it a nice tangy freshness and creaminess. Back it goes. We'll wazz it up. It does do the most incredible job, because what you have in here, to me, is sunshine and joy. It just tastes of barbecue, holidays, And imagine making that on a miserable day when you want something that just makes you feel good. So summer or winter, happy or sad, this is a cracking dish that honestly will serve you and your family really well. So gas off. We'll drain this pasta over here. Once it's drained, we'll go back into the pan with the pasta and we'll use that residual heat to add in our amazing sauce. Look at that colour. Shake in that sauce. You can add just a little Parmesan for some light seasoning. Just fold it in. Pour it in the middle. And then just take that plate and give it a little shake. And once you've done that, take that beautiful parsley oil, which could be basil oil or mint oil or whatever oil you want, and just do little bombs of it. Think sort of Jackson Pollock, bosh. Then back to the beautiful cottage cheese. So you don't need much. When this hits the heat of the pasta, it will start to kind of melt in a beautiful way. The smell is insane. And there, my friends, is a joyful, exciting pasta dish made out of simple ingredients you can grab and do in the time it takes to cook some penne. Come on. Hey guys, hope you're well. So I'm gonna show you a really nice, easy dish that's delicious. It's a tray-baked chicken dish that we're gonna have with tortillas and salad and a little bit of corn in there. It's gonna be delicious. It's a family favorite dish, which all happens in one tray. So what we're gonna do is kind of have a welcoming party of flavor. How are we gonna do it? We're gonna have a little bit of olive oil in there, and then about the same of red wine vinegar, and then we'll kiss it with a little bit of salt and pepper, and then we've got the flavor that I love. About a teaspoon of smoked paprika goes in. That is what's gonna flavor this dish. Put the tray forward. We're gonna go in with 2 peeled onions that I'm just gonna quarter. And see these little petals like that? Just pull them off and they'll just be beautiful by the time the chicken's cooked. And then we've got the chicken. Now, chicken thighs are just a brilliant cut of meat. They're so juicy and tender. So I'm gonna put the chicken in here like that. And then I'm gonna use my hands, just give it a nice little massage up, place the chicken on top of the onions, and when they cook together, it's gonna be the most beautiful harmonies. And then last but not least in this tray, cherry tomatoes, okay? I'm gonna put a pack of these cherry tomatoes in. That's basically 250 grams. And imagine all of this cooking, right? It goes in the oven. I'm just gonna wash my hands. Okay, I'm gonna put this straight in the oven, and we'll cook it for 45 minutes at 200 degrees Celsius. Now let's just talk about tortillas. A really good swap that is more delicious and definitely much more nutritious is to go from the white tortilla to the wholemeal tortilla. 2 or 3 times more fiber, but also more flavor. So I'll show you how to prep the tortillas a little bit later. But first up, what I want to do is show you a technique of cooking the beautiful sweet corn. So you can do these on a barbecue, lovely, and you'll get that smokiness. But another way to kind of get a similar char is to go into a pan, dry, and just char it and turn it around. So we're gonna cook this for like 10, 12 minutes on a medium-high heat. You can see that charring that you get, really nice. Just keep rotating that corn, and once it's all charred up like that, it's gonna be amazing. So the chicken's had its time, the corn is getting nice and charred up. Let's talk about the crunchy bits, salad. So you can have fun with any salad you've got, but I've got the humble gem lettuce here. You can just have kind of big chunks if you want, or you can finely slice it, just so it's nice and delicate and really fine. So we've got our salad bit here. We could take this corn on the cob and just have it whole, as we always do, or you can take it whole and just half it. Be careful though, cut it in half. But what my ones love is when you take it off of the corn and you just put it on the fat bit like that. Take a knife, don't put pressure on it, and just run it gently down the corn like that. And you can see how hot and steamy that is. So look, that'll go over there. Now next up, with the tortilla, we just want to warm them through. Literally on one side, actually. Get yourself a nice little clean tea towel and just place it here like that. I don't want to get them crispy, I just want to reheat them. So 2 at a time. Every time you put the tortillas in, just wrap them up like this, okay? So that will keep it nice and warm and steamy, but most importantly, flexible, so you can wrap it up and it will be gorgeous. So look, the last 2 done in your little tea towel here. And then here, the tray bake. And the thing that I love about tray bakes is that everything cooking together. The smokiness, the sweetness, I can smell it all. It's really beautiful. So what we want to do is get 2 forks and then basically just pull apart that chicken. Can you see how tender that is? The sweetness from the tomatoes and the onions with that spice of the smoked paprika, which is such a great seasoning to have in your home. Get all the sticky bits from around the edge of the tray, and you can serve this in the middle of the table. So it's like beautiful, organized chaos. Now, the only thing I love to do is just have a little bit of yogurt, a nice little pinch maybe of the smoked paprika, just to kind of give it a little bit of a vibe. An optional extra as well, lemon or lime, and that's it. Easy to put together, easy to cook, and then easy to serve, and it's a real crowd pleaser. For kids or adults, it's happy days. I love just to kind of line up those sweet onions first. The gorgeous crushed tomato and chicken, look at that. A sprinkle of the beautiful sweet corn and a little bit of that crunchy lettuce, and just that kind of nice refreshment of a little bit of yogurt if you wish, and if you want, a squeeze of lime. Roll it up. What I love about that is it's fun, but the juiciness and the depth of flavour from the traybake is phenomenal. So guys, come on, have a little cook up. You won't regret it. Enjoy. This is my sticky miso chicken that I put together for Tesco. We're talking tender, crispy skin chicken, beautiful fluffy rice, seasonal greens. Everyone in my family absolutely loves it. It's a really nice way to get more veggies into the kids. You can double it, you can half it, so it's really, really easy to make flexible for your family. So let's get cooking. This has to be one of the easiest recipes to put together. We like that. We're gonna cook it in one tray, so minimal washing up. We like that also. We're gonna go in with the chicken, a kilo of chicken legs, probably the most economical cut of chicken. What do you get? You get beautiful, sweet, tender meat. We're gonna get crispy skin, but don't forget the mega flavor that's gonna come out of the bone here, right? That's gonna make the rice so, so good. Very simply, into here with a little pepper, 2 tablespoons of soy sauce, and then an ingredient that you might not know, this is white miso. You can get it in Tesco, right? 1 tablespoon, nice and heaped, goes in. Classically, miso is used in Japanese cooking. It's fermented, you get extraordinary flavor. So you get depth, you know, if you rub that on a roast lamb, if you do that on chicken, if you do it with beautiful veggies, it's incredible. Use it almost like a seasoning. It's brilliant. So we're gonna add to that just a little bit of vinegar, just a couple of tablespoons, and then some olive oil, a couple of tablespoons. Just mix everything together and massage that flavor. You can't fake flavor, you have to earn it. So massage all those ingredients into a beautiful marinade. Now, ideally, you would do this the day before, right? And if you left it in the fridge overnight, all of that flavor goes deep into the chicken, but you can also do this straight away and cook straight away if you're busy, so don't stress it. What happens with that miso is it creates this lovely thick marinade that sticks to the chicken. The smell is amazing. This might be one of the best chicken legs you've ever had. It's so good. So lay that out flat. Now we whack that straight into the oven for half an hour at 200 degrees Celsius, and then I'll show you what to do next. Half an hour. It smells incredible. Come and have a look. So we have already tender chicken, right? First of all, look in the tray. Those little cork black bits, right? That is flavor. So let me show you how you're gonna make some of the most delicious rice ever. So just get the chicken, take it out, and this is a 1 tray wonder. And the benefit of doing that is we can amplify flavor. So what I'm gonna do now is a really solid recipe for rice. We're gonna use a regular builder's mug, right? And yes, believe me, this will be enough rice for 4 people. So we'll go in with some fantastic basmati rice. You could be fairly generous to the top like that if you want. That goes in to the tray. And then 2 of these of boiling water. The ratio that's always perfect. Now this boiling water will start to dissolve the dark sticky bits, to give you all that flavour, the flavour from the bones, the flavour from the soy and the miso. It's gonna be really tasty. Put it on the hob and just bring it up to that boil. Just get the flavors going. And you'll see this almost turn into a stock. Beautiful. So in the 1 minute that takes, let's just talk about the broccoli. Take these little florets off like that. Use the knife. I love broccoli. My kids love it. Super healthy. But then often what happens for a lot of people is that goes in the bin, right? I don't want that to happen. I'll trim off the end where it's woody, but then this lovely bit of stalk here, if you just half it and slice it, it's delicious. Don't waste that. It's really, really good. The stalk can go into the rice. Beautiful. Nestle back in the chicken. And that will sit on the rice. The rice will cook in and around it, almost hug it. So the great thing about this recipe is you can marinate the chicken in the tray, you can cook the chicken in the tray and serve it in the tray. Any juices that come out, we'll take all of that. Just nestle in the broccoli, and we're gonna pop this back in the oven for about 10 to 15 minutes, just until the rice is cooked. As soon as it's cooked, we're done. That chicken will be tender, the skin will be crispy. It's just a really cool, easy dish. And even my fussiest kid loves it. Just a little drizzle of honey over the chicken to give it a lovely little glaze. And then a little sprinkling of sesame seeds over the top. Heart healthy fats, tastes delicious. And that, my friends, is gonna be gorgeous. So back in the oven, at the bottom of the oven, for about 10 to 15 minutes. You'll have perfect chicken, perfect rice, and the broccoli won't be overcooked. It's gonna be delicious. So I wanna get a bit more veg into the story. So everything in the oven is very comforting. It's crispy skin, it's tender. You know, I wanna get some crunch happening, okay? So what I'm gonna do is peel this cucumber, and then I'm gonna split it lengthwise into quarters. You can remove the kind of seedy part like that, and that's really, really simple. You literally just get the knife and run it simply like that to remove that. That's basically just water. Let's just line it all up, and you can go as fine or chunky as you wish. I think quite fine works really nice. So season it with salt. We'll have a little bit of pepper as well. And then we'll take some vinegar, any vinegar you like. This is red wine vinegar. And then just dress it like that. And this sprinkled over the finished dish, you know, with that lovely rice, and the chicken will be just delicious. Cold and crunchy, we love that. So into a bowl we go. So the simplest cucumber pickle done, chicken done, let's serve up. So, oh, look at that. The chicken is crispy, the sesame seeds have gone golden. I love the way the broccoli is just caught around the edges. And actually, if you leave this tray just for a couple of minutes as everyone comes around the table, just letting it sit allows those sticky bits around the edge just to almost kind of dissolve and go back into the rice dish. Absolutely beautiful dish, so simple, and it smells amazing. Let's just serve up a portion. So this will easily serve 4 people, if not more. Let's get in there. Look at that lovely chicken leg, shiny and gorgeous. And look how lovely and fluffy and perfect that rice is. But the flavour of this rice is going to be off the chart. And that, my friends, is a great little dish. That's not even the full portion, and it feels really substantial. It smells amazing. Let's have a little try. Let's get in there. First of all, let's go rice. That flavour, chicken stock flavour, the miso, the soy, is so good. So good. Let's have a little bit of this chicken. Fingers, sorry, don't care. Oh, so good, look, tender. Just falls off the bone. And then the broccoli is big flavour, absolutely delicious. And then of course that little pickle is always a joy and a contrast. So guys, what are you waiting for? Go on, have a go at that. Sticky miso chicken. One tray, one thing to wash up, bar a few plates, happy days.
This chicken and mushroom tray bake is all about easy assembly. After a satisfying short 10 minutes of prep, the oven does all the hard work for you. Weeknight or weekend, that's a simple dinner sorted.
So classic mushroom, beautiful. I've got 400 grams, make sure they're nice and clean. Then the chicken, I want to use a nice big fat thigh, right, on the bone, skin on, maximum flavour, sweet, delicious meat that falls off the bone. I'm just going to put the hob on here. on like a medium heat. I just want a little bit of heat to brown up that chicken skin. Little olive oil in the pan. Take the chicken and I'll season it up with salt and pepper. I'm actually going to cover it in the oven, and that's going to give you very tender chicken in the most beautiful way, but it won't give you much browning. So what I'll do is I'll start that browning process now by just using the tray, not just for baking and roasting, but also a little frying. We can do that. So put them skin side down in the tray, and I'm just going to lightly brown them. Chicken thighs are amazing, they're great value. Having the bone and skin on gives you more flavour. So just fry these off for like 3 or 4 minutes until lightly golden. Have a little look at this. That's all I want. It's just a gesture of getting that skin crispy. I'll turn the gas off now, but that's sizzling away. So let's begin putting these flavour combos together. So I'm going to use some pretty everyday tinned items from the cupboard. Butter beans, they're big, fat and creamy, but you could use any bean you like. And then I've got some mushroom soup. This is condensed mushroom soup. The idea is this little hack helps amp up the flavour of the things that we're putting in there, and it stops you having to make a sauce with another pan, more washing up, and for quick kind of like midweek cooking, this tray bake, I want to work hard for you, right? I don't want you to cook harder, I want you to think smarter. That's what it's all about, right? Another little hack, I love fresh spinach, I buy it, I grow it, but believe it or not, I also have it frozen. And frozen spinach is brilliant. It's really convenient to have, but also it's been blanched and wrung out, and that means it's perfect for cooking. So I'll take 4 of these for 4 people, for our 4 thighs, and for me, spinach with creamy mushroom is just an absolute joy. Right, let's put this together because it's unbelievably quick. We're gonna go in with the mushrooms, right? They're all washed. If you've got some big ones, you can just cut them in half, no trouble at all. I'm then gonna go in with the beans. Drain most of that liquid. Beans go in. Now, this tin isn't just for the beans. Think of this tin as your measure. 1 tin of water, 1 tin of rice, and then your tin here of mushroom soup. That'll be enough liquid to cook you 4 portions of the most beautiful rice every single time. It's a great little hack. I want you to have delicious meals that you can rattle out. I want these combinations and these quantities to work for you every single time. The fact that you can put this together so quickly, whack it in the oven, do what you gotta do, 40, 50 minutes later, dinner. Wow, that's what it's all about, right? So look, last thing's in, we'll go in with the spinach, a little olive oil, basic seasoning of salt and pepper. Then get yourself a lovely lemon, and I'm gonna use the juice later. That's another story, but I want the zest. This zest is unbelievable flavour. Just mix everything up. I want the chicken skin on the top because we want that to get crisp later. And then you're ready to go. Grab a little bit of tin foil and just kind of crimp it up the sides. This now goes in the oven for 45 minutes at 200 degrees Celsius, which is 400 Fahrenheit, and then I'll whip off that tin foil and give it a few minutes to get golden on top. It's gonna be delicious. Right. Yes. Right, do this carefully, but look at that. Hot and steamy. So I'm now just gonna put it back in for just a couple of minutes, just to get a little bit of crispiness on the top. Okay, I've got one little thing that I think takes this to the next level, and it's using mustard, right? 4 big teaspoons of English mustard. Then we're gonna hit it up with lemon juice. Slap it with freshness and that electric kind of citrus. Enough to make it nice and loose. Because when I get my plate of like rice, chicken, spinach, I want to sprawl that all over the place. Just amazing. So this is the simplest little hack. Right, let's check that chicken. The skin's now dancing. I actually do this quite a lot, which is very sad. Watching things crackle. I think we're good. Let's go for it. Come on. Look at that. What a beautiful dinner. The oven's done all the hard work. Let's portion some up. Some bits around the edge have just caught, which I love. Put the chicken on top and a bit of oyster mushroom. It looks really good. And then your lemony English mustard. That is a brilliant tray bake meal right there. Let's have a little try. Oh. I love it. The chicken is delicious, it's tender. It's a humble thigh, right? But it's given so much flavour to the rice. Like that spinachy freshness with the unctuous rice, the heat of the lemony mustard and the chicken. This tastes like I've been cooking for hours, but you saw it, right? What we're talking about is big flavour, but simple preparation. Get it in that tray, mix it up, cover it, cook it. Eat it. So good. This is the most beautiful tray bake. It's so quick. When I came up with this, I was time poor. My family wanted something a little bit exciting, spicy, and all of it can happen in this tray. Get it in the oven, let the oven do the work, and then as a little kicker, I'm gonna show you a beautiful homemade quick bread, the quickest, delicious bread ever. So, so good. So we're gonna get this tray, we're gonna turn this into a frying pan. The first thing we do is give it a little kiss of olive oil. Get that on a medium-high heat. Now the chicken is free range, so let's get going. I've got 4 lovely thighs right here, my favorite cut. So season the chicken up with salt and pepper, give that a nice little rub around, and then get that in the hot oil. Skin side down, we want to start rendering that fat because we want to get it crispy, but also that chicken fat is full of flavour. So this is for 4 people. If you wanted to do it for 8 or 12, this is a great recipe for scaling up. Easy peasy, great for parties and stuff like that. So as the skin gets crispy, let's start prepping the garlic. I want 8 cloves, and this is not going to be strong because the way I'm going to cook this, it's going to be creamy and mild and very fragrant. So the reason I love this recipe is because from start to finish, the flow is just brilliant. It's got that really nice kind of simple path to getting it in the oven and creating incredible texture and flavour. Then we go on to the chilies. 2 lovely green chilies. Cut it in half and use the tip of the knife just to remove those seeds. So we've removed most of the aggressive heat. Get the old skin blistering. So once it's got nice and sizzling, let's turn the chicken over. Come on, we've already got good colour here. Then we're going to go in with the jalfrezi paste. Now, you can get the jalfrezi paste everywhere. For me, I think this is a really exciting paste because it's all done for you. In here, you've got a whole bunch of beautiful spices. Coriander, we've got paprika, cardamom, tamarind. And I love tamarind, that lovely sweet and sour flavour. So just move this around in the chicken fat and it'll cling to the chicken. Now it's smelling incredible. And it's going to get better. Next up, bay leaves. Of course, if you can't get bay leaves, don't stress. You could use rosemary if you wanted to, no worries at all. We're going in with 8 big leaves. Go for it. And then peppers, right? Just get it, put your thumb in the little stalky part here, push it through, and then you can get rid of the seeds, and I can tear the pepper into like little quarters. And look, peppers is something that I buy every single week, like most people. And often, I don't know why, they're left to the end of the week, which is kind of nice because they're getting nice and ripe. But in a dish like this, you're just amplifying the sweetness of the peppers. And with the bay and the spice and the chicken, it's so, so good. So now let's just take a little curveball. A secret ingredient, got some onion marmalade here. You can get it in all the supermarkets. So instead of using a fresh onion and chopping it up, we're going to go in with the onion marmalade because it's got seasoning in there, vinegar, sugar. About 2 tablespoons we put in. And often you'd have that with a cheese platter or something like that. And you know what? You don't have to just use it for those sort of things. You can use it in cooking. And then last but not least, 2 tablespoons of red wine vinegar. Oh, I can smell it. It's unbelievable. So what we're creating here, guys, is not a curry with gravy. This is what you would describe as a dry curry. Not dry meat, it's going to be the opposite, succulent meat. But dry as in sort of sticky peppers around it and garlic and all of that sort of lovely stuff. Mix it all up. So look, that's it. Look at the colours, come on. I guarantee you, and I promise you, epic flavour here. So now we just whack this in the oven for about 40 minutes at 180 degrees Celsius, which is 350 Fahrenheit. I'm putting that in my wood oven, a regular oven, absolutely perfect. Beautiful. Now, just let the oven do the work. So the tray bake is looking very good. That's nearly there. And I'm thinking what to serve with it, rice or bread? And my guys love a bread. I've got the best little trick, this little tweak to make like a naan-style bread. You know, crispy, fluffy texture, and I'm gonna make it and cook it in a little 26 centimetre pan. So look, I'm gonna take a regular mug of self-raising flour, fill it up to the top. So 2 of these go in, and then I'm gonna add 2 teaspoons of English mustard. It's got that colour, and it's got that very subtle heat. And then 2 pinches of sea salt. And then we'll take some water and a fork, and we'll just make the simplest little flatbread ever. What I want to get from this bread is flavour. I want fluffiness to kind of mop up those juices in the bottom of the tray, and I want crispiness. In literally 2 minutes, you can add just enough water to make a basic dough. Look at the colour from the mustard. It's the easiest flatbread recipe ever. And just bring that to a dough, and you know, it's got to be not sticky, but pliable and elastic. So just give it a little knead. And actually what you can do is use the bread to clean out that pan. This we're going to cook it in, and then just kind of finish moving that around until you're happy. And that's it. Lovely dough, ready and raring to go. So the beauty of this bread is you don't really have to rest it, right? All I need to do now is put a little flour on a board, and I want to roll it out to be nice and thin. Grab a rolling pin or something like that and just roll it out. And your job is to make basically something the size of like a tea towel. And it doesn't matter if it's a bit wonky. If you make a hole, then patch it. Basically what we want is a sheet, right, like that. Super simple. And look, there'll be thin bits and fatter bits. I really don't care. What we're going to do is create texture. So I want layers. So I need to make those layers. And the way to do that is by using fat. Now, it could be butter, it could be coconut oil, right? But what we want to do is rub that oil quite generously over this lovely mustard bread. And once you've done that, then we can start rolling. So almost like a croissant, we're creating a barrier between fat and dough. And when that cooks, it expands. So you're going to get lift and crispiness. And once you've rolled it up like that, then we'll get a little bit more oil. And then we'll roll it the other way, like a snail, right? So we're doing double lamination. And when I cook this bread, even though we've got the self-raising flour, which will expand anyway, as it cooks, the oil's going to go out like that and then out like that, right? So you're going to get double layering. So just push it out with your hand. And then get your rolling pin and just gently, gently roll it out. So for the simplest, most humble bread, actually it's got complexity in texture. And I know for a fact that my missus and the kids absolutely love it. In actual fact, they always request it. So once it's about the same size as the pan, let's get this nice and hot. Let's take this bread and place it straight in there. A nice, dry, non-stick frying pan. And I reckon on a medium-high heat, about 3 to 4 minutes on each side should be about perfect. We're going to turn it out now. The top's cold, and look at that. Sizzling, gnarly, cooked. You can see the little waves of texture. Then into the pan, another 3 minutes, 4 minutes, and that'll be good to go. So bread is done, absolutely beautiful. So give it a nice little oil and just kind of rub that in. And this is one of the few breads where you're actually told to break it, to beat it up before you even eat it. So get your 2 hands together. This is hot, so you know, go quick. And then look inside, I can smell the mustard, wow. And then look inside there, can you see all the little folds and all those little layers that you built up? You can now basically dismantle that and they become little edible spoons. And if I show you in the tray, come on, look at the colours. Big flavours, minimal effort. And then all I would do now is just kiss a few little dots of yoghurt in and around here. Can you see what happens when you shake it? And it just starts to ripple. Right, bread, bit of lemon juice on the salad. And for me, that is just a beautiful, beautiful thing. Very little effort and massive flavour in return. Right, time to plate up. Very excited about all of this. Let's go for a nice chunky bit of chicken there, look at that. Let's get those lovely peppers, look at the colour. And the juices are just ridiculous. Stickiness from that amazing onion marmalade. Big flavour in very little time. Wowzers. Let's have a chilli. No, I've got a chilli. Let's have a bit of garlic. Oh, I've got 2 bits of garlic. Sorry, I'm getting too excited. And then the bread. So if I just pull off like a big wodge of this, can you see all the little twists? And that means I can kind of get in there with like this edible spoon and get all those juices. Yes, it's the most brilliant quick bread ever. And that is good to go. That is me very, very happy. Right, time for a little taste. First test is the chicken tender. Oh yeah, look, that meat's succulent. Crispy skin, a little bit of pepper. Yeah, man. Sweet and sour, spice, complexity. The bay leaves and the vinegar just do like this magic thing with all the kind of rendered chicken fat. It is just scrumptious. And then when it comes to this bread, I like how you just kind of like, you just unwind it and then clean the plate. The chicken. It's a one-tray dish. The oven does most of the work, but you're left with these big, bold, delicious flavours. I just love it.